I still remember the sound. Not the screech of tires or the crunch of metal. Those came later. No, I mean that knock. The kind that rattles the air around your house and sends every dog on the block into a barking frenzy. It was 7:04 a.m. I'd just poured my second espresso. Morning haze still clung to the windows. I cracked the front door open, half expecting a neighbor, maybe a package, but instead, I found 3 men standing in my yard like they'd just finished a hostile takeover. The tallest one pointed at my car, my pride, a cherry red Licenza V12 parked clean in my own damn driveway. Out of compliance, he barked. For what? I asked, already feeling my chest tighten. Your window tint violates Visual Code 6.1, another chimed in. Exhaust systems over 92 decibels. Community Rulebook Section 7.4. The third added, waving a clipboard like a sword. I blinked. That's not a real section. But they weren't here to argue. Move it or we impound, the tall one said flatly. That's when I asked the question that cracked the act wide open. Show me your credentials. The guy with the clipboard laughed under his breath. We don't have all day, sir. Then came the silence. Long and heavy, like the final minute before a thunderstorm. No one moved. Then he walked to their pickup, reached into the bed, and pulled out a crowbar. My heart slammed. Don't, I warned. Too late. The first swing shattered the headlight. The second slammed into the hood like a sledgehammer hitting a drum. The third snapped the side mirror clean off. I didn't yell. I didn't throw fists. I just stood there, jaw locked. Hand in my pocket, clutching my phone like a grenade I wasn't ready to throw. 2 minutes. That's how long it took them to ruin everything. Then they tossed the crowbar back, flipped me off, and peeled off like street thugs. I made 2 calls. First to the HOA. The actual one. The woman who answered sounded like she'd just woken up inside a lawyer's office. I'm afraid those men aren't on our enforcement list, sir. Are they third-party contractors? Maybe, but I don't have those names on file. They destroyed my car. I'm not sure what you want me to do. Click. Then came the second call. Coleman. Yeah. The voice replied, crisp and calm like every officer briefing I ever taught him. I'm cashing in. He didn't ask why. He didn't need to. By the time I texted him the plate, captured through a neighbor's blurry upstairs photo, he was already pinging traffic cams. Black GMC Nevada plates. He confirmed an hour later. Last sighting? A dead strip mall 2 towns over. We went that night. It looked abandoned. Cracked pavement. Boarded windows. A graffiti-stained vape shop and a barber sign swinging in the wind. But then they stepped out. Same guys. Same clipboard. Same smug pace. You see this? Coleman said, pointing across the lot. Second group, different building. They're not a crew. They're a training ground. They were teaching people how to impersonate HOA enforcement. Scripts, uniforms, even laminated IDs. All fake. All rehearsed. And then, just when we thought we'd seen the worst, Samir disappeared. Quiet guy. Electrical engineer. His kid went to the same preschool as my daughter. His wife came pounding on my door in tears. He confronted them about a fake fine. He never came back. 2 days passed. Then he did. But he wasn't the same. Lip split. Shoulders hunched. Voice like a whisper fighting to stay alive. They said they know where my daughter goes to school. I didn't need to say anything. Coleman just nodded and said, now it's personal. A day later. Facial recognition pinged our clipboard guy. Ex-deputy. Dismissed for excessive force and falsifying reports. Now listed as security personnel for a shell company tied to, you guessed it, the strip mall. But the name that made my blood run cold wasn't his. It was the one buried in a registry. Derek Ayers. Alias, the auditor. Years ago, he tried to recruit me. Said he was building a behavioral enforcement consultancy. Wanted my face, my resume, my clean record. I told him to shove it. Now he was building a quiet empire through fear and fake authority. Coleman put together a tactical plan. Operation Glass House. 3 vans. 1 mobile command unit. SWAT hit at dawn. I rode in silence in the back, watching it all through a bulletproof slit. Flashbangs popped. Shutters burst open. They swarmed like a storm rolling over concrete. Room 1, clear. Room 2, jackpot, files, laptops, backup drives. Room 3, gone. A hidden latch. An escape tunnel. We missed him, but we found worse. Folders. Names. Photos. Mine. My daughter walking home. At the grocery store. Eating ice cream. Labeled, Tier 1 leverage asset. I didn't speak, but my hands trembled. We're locking this whole thing down, Coleman said. This isn't enforcement. This is organized coercion. Inside one terminal was a database. Neighborhoods were color-coded. Passive, high yield, reinforce, silent opposition. One folder read, Q3 revenue recovery targets. Next to it, my name. Notes, luxury class. Escalation approved. Test response thresholds. They were testing us, seeing how much fear they could inject before someone snapped. Well, someone did. We traced Derek to a gated compound across county lines. No warrant this time. No knock. He was in the basement. Tailored shirt. Sipping coffee. Watching neighborhood camera feeds across 4 monitors. You took your time, he said without turning. You're under arrest, Coleman replied. For what? For pretending to be what the city never asked you to be, I said, stepping in. I provided structure, he said calmly. People don't like authority until their neighbor paints their house neon green. You ruled by threat. I delivered results. Coleman cuffed him. You won't last. He smiled. I lasted long enough to put your family in a file. I didn't respond. I walked out. In the days that followed, the news erupted. The HOA hoax, biggest organized impersonation ring in suburban history. Some HOA boards knew and looked away. Others were clueless pawns. A few had been paid to stay silent. New laws dropped like hammers. Third-party enforcers must be licensed, tracked, and publicly identified. Any impersonation? I stood at the auction block, watching it roll past. I didn't buy it, I said. They returned it. Said it was the least they could do. But that's not the part that stayed with me. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't justice. It wasn't about a car. It was the quiet moment, right before the knock, where fear enters your home through the front door and dares you to answer. I just hope no one else ever has to. Because silence? That's what feeds these wolves. And sometimes, the only way to shut down fake authority is to call in the real thing. Now it's your turn. Would you have stayed silent? Would you have knocked back? Or do you think systems like this are already real where you live? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to share this with someone who still thinks HOA is just about lawn heights and mailboxes. Because now, we know better.